Structure and function is the sixth cross-cutting concept for the K-12 science framework for education. This presentation will teach about the concept and how to integrate NAEP questions into lessons to teach the cross-cutting concepts. The sixth cross-cutting concept focuses on how the shape and properties of something is related to its job or function. The way in which an object or living thing is shaped and its substructure determine many of its properties and functions. When teaching about structure and function, students must learn to look at the big picture and for smaller details within each system. Consider scale of system and materials within a system. The functioning of natural and built systems alike depends on the shapes and relationships of key parts as well as on the properties of the materials from which they are made. A sense of scale is necessary in order to know what properties and what aspects of shape or material are relevant at a particular magnitude or in investigating particular phenomena. That is, the selection of an appropriate scale depends on the question being asked. National Assessment of Educational Progress, or NAEP, is used around the country to determine how states are doing compared to other states in particular content areas. This is done through online testing. NAEP-released practice questions for teachers can be used as they see fit. NAEP questions are useful to use in lessons and assessments to help students get comfortable with the format and learn strategies to advance their own learning. The Next Generation Science Standards, which use the K-12 framework as a guide, developed a conceptual progression for different grades. They align some content standards or core ideas with the cross-cutting concepts. The developers of the NGSS did not identify a performance standard that aligns with the standards. Teachers may find other NAEP items that also help teach and assist the K-12 framework. Progression across the grades. In grades K2, students observe the shape and stability of structures of natural and designed objects are related to their functions. They are to develop a simple model that mimics the function of an animal dispersing seeds or pollinating plants. Released NAEP items in this presentation are aligned with one grade band, but many of them could fit with different grade bands to meet the standards. We had to pick one, but be creative. NAEP symbols on each question page are links to the original NAEP question on the NAEP website. The NAEP website includes useful information such as difficulty rating, to which grades it was administered, percentage of students who answered the question correctly, and the answer key. The bird shown above would be most likely to eat A. Insects from the ground, B. Nectar from tube-shaped flowers, C. Fish from the ocean, or D. Amphibians from a pond. This question asks students to assess the shape of the bird's beak and match it with one of the functional options listed. This could be used as an introduction to a physical traits investigation. How are different birds' beaks shaped? How is this related to their habitats and habits? What do playing a guitar, banging a drum, and dropping a pebble in the water have in common? A. They all produce light. B. They all cause vibrations. C. They all convert heat to energy. Or D. They all need gravity to move. The common function is vibrations which in turn create a sound or are visible in water. The opportunity here is to make a comparison chart to look for similar traits. Eliminate answers that don't make sense. Is any heat or light created? Does gravity influence any of the answers? How is sound made? Can you think of a way to test this? Each of the examples in the question has a similar function. Can you explain in your own words how each example has a similar function? In grades 3 through 5, students learn different materials have different substructures, which can sometimes be observed, and substructures have different shapes and parts that serve functions. Students in grades 3 through 5 focus on structures and substructures that coordinate for specific function. This NAEP item requires identifying different organisms from the food web that fit certain categories. This question addresses the different functions of organ systems. Within each system, different organs have specific functions: main structure, body system; subsystem, relationships between organs within a body system, and how an organ itself functions. How is each function of the different systems and subsystems necessary to live? What would happen if a function was not carried out correctly? Which statement best explains why decomposers are an important part of this food web? A. They use sunlight to make their own food. B. They give off oxygen for animals to breathe. C. They provide camouflage for small animals. Or D. They make nutrients available to plants. This NAEP question deals with the function of decomposers in an ecosystem. How do decomposers fit into the structure of an ecosystem? How would an ecosystem function differently without decomposers? Could an ecosystem function without decomposers? Given their position in the food web, which answer makes the most sense? What is your evidence that decomposers do not fit with the other possible answers? In grades 6 through 8, students model complex and microscopic structures and systems and visualize how their function depends on their shapes, composition, and relationships among its parts. They analyze many complex natural and design structures and systems to determine how they function. They design structures to serve particular functions by taking into account properties of different materials and how materials can be shaped and used. Develop and use a model to describe that waves are reflected, absorbed, or transmitted through various materials. The big ideas here are complex and microscopic structures, material and shape of structures. Which is a function of a neuron? It carries oxygen to other cells, it secretes digestive enzymes, it removes foreign particles from the bloodstream, it receives signals from the internal and external environments. This NAEP item looks at the job of a neuron, which is a structure part of a larger system. What material makes up a neuron? Why is this important for the function of a neuron? What materials make up other types of cells? How is the material of a cell related to its function? Seedlings of the same species of plant can grow at different rates. For example, some seedlings grow tall very fast, but other seedlings grow tall much more slowly. Explain why it might be advantageous for a plant seedling to grow tall very fast. Structures within a plant allow it to compete for resources. Which structures are involved? How are they involved in the competition for resources? How do the structures function together for the plant to grow tall very fast? How is this function an advantage for that plant? Why would it be a disadvantage to grow slowly? In grades 9 through 12, students investigate systems by examining the properties of different materials, the structures of different components, and their interconnections to reveal the system's function and/or solve a problem. They infer the function and properties of natural and designed objects and systems from their overall structure, the way their components are shaped and used, and the molecular substructures of their various materials. They are to plan and conduct an investigation of the properties of water and its effects on earth materials and surface processes. The big ideas here are to further examine components of systems and materials, and look at the molecular level substructures that are involved. What is the main reason that water has the ability to dissolve many different substances? A. Water has a lower molecular mass than many substances. B. Water molecules attract ions and the charged parts of the molecules. C. Water molecules are larger than the ions or molecules they dissolve. Or D. Water is more dense in the liquid phase than in the solid phase. This NAEP item asks students to find a relationship between the structure of water and its ability to dissolve substances. What materials and/or substructures make up a water molecule? What are some characteristics of these components? What are some different ways a water molecule could be categorized? How does the structure of a water molecule make it possible for it to dissolve different substances? When you exercise strenuously, your body produces excess heat. Describe what your body does to help prevent your temperature from rising excessively, and explain why the body's response is effective. The NAEP item requires students to make a connection between a body's response to heat and the function of specific structures and systems within the body. What systems and structures within the body help to control temperature? Which materials make up these structures? Here are 2 resources for teachers to get other perspectives on cross-cutting concept number 6, structure and function. NSTA also has a variety of digital and print resources and trainings available to educators that are grade level specific.